Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Yes, one of the things that I've learned about Joanie is whenever she does a show or anything, she always likes to be very prepared, not just musically and educationally, but in her outfits as well. She is very strategic in everything she does. And all that says is she likes to give her very best, give 100%. And so, no matter what happens today, just know that she has truly been working on this for about 2 or 3 weeks. As you know, we were going to do the show a while back, and we had a snafu with that. And then this week we decided to add the show again. And I have to tell you, in the email, we did say that this was a rare experience, and it is a rare experience. And the reason is you are looking at one of two Lowry Liberties that are probably available in the world. Now let that sink in for a minute. One of two Lowry Liberties in the entire world. And what made this instrument special when it was introduced, the model number is LE6500, meaning it was a limited edition model. So there were only so many made. And one of the things that's interesting is, if you ask me what's the best organ in the world, everybody would say, oh, the Aria. And it is the flagship model. But if you ask a salesperson, what's your favorite? You'd be surprised how we each kind of have our own favorite model that we love playing on. And every time I talk to Joanie and I kind of get her thoughts on the Liberty, you can't stop her from talking. She just said, oh, God, I love it. When you're done with today's show, you're going to hear why that's why I put in the email, this is one of her favorite virtual orchestras. And when you're done with today's show, if you don't feel what she's feeling, we need to check your pulse. But we have a delightful show. She's been working hard at this. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Miss Joanie Monero, everybody. Give it up.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. So excited to be here. And Robert is right. Everybody has a personal favorite to their heart, and the Liberty does it for me. And I'll tell you, as I've been playing it and been blessed to have it in the store here in Sun City, Florida, it's been wonderful because each time I play something, I want to play more. It keeps making me want to play. The sound, you're going to hear me talk about so much. The sound is phenomenal. Certain sounds I use, certain ways I play, it gives me goosebumps. The hair on my arms stand up. If it can do that for me, it can do even more for you. So I am thrilled, absolutely thrilled to spend this time with you. And I hope you will catch the fever of my excitement because it's truly a fantastic, I refer to it as the Super Elite Series. And it is sound that is incomparable. So I'm going to get started with Broadway magic because I think we need this in this song. is right. Wow, the sound.
Excellent.
So fabulous. And I'm live, so I'm really getting to enjoy it. But it's just a magnificent instrument. Um, and when I talk about the sound, it makes me say, "Oh my!" That's all I can say to describe it because it's just awesome. Very interesting with the Liberty. And I'm not really a numbers person per se about how many of this is here and how many of that is there. That's not really something I think about because numbers are usually big. But I'm going to tell you that on the Liberty there are 33, 33. When you think about that, think about how many rhythms are on the instrument you might have. 33 brand new rhythm styles. That's amazing. And what's even more amazing is there's 59 more rhythms than the Patriot has. And there's 79. Now imagine, what do you do with 79 rhythms above the Sterling? So the number of new styles that you have, what does the new styles do for you? Because I often hear people say, why do I need all that? Well, A, because you can. That's important. But B is because then when you play your music, whatever it is that you want to play, you're going to play something differently each time, which is what keeps it exciting. It keeps it fun. It's fun for me. I think I'll try this one this time. I'll try that one that time. And that's what really keeps you motivated and having fun in playing. So I'm going to integrate some information about the Liberty, but I want to play as much as I can for you so that you can really enjoy not only the sound, but you can enjoy the music as well. So I'm going to go to a signature style right now. And this is actually a signature style that's Dennis Oz. And it's called After the Love. And the song obviously is After the Lovin'. I hope you enjoy it.
Good job. Beautiful song. Beautiful. Wow.
Beautiful.
Great job, Joanie.
So jealous. I want to be a
Beautiful.
celebrity.
And I was experimenting when I was trying to choose out of all my choices, 33 new rhythm styles, but I was experimenting with only using what's in the instrument itself, so I don't have a USB right now on it. And also I was experimenting with changing the different sounds that I get, and every sound I get, I loved. It's just phenomenal. The sound is so incredible, and I'm gonna ask my cameraman here if he might shift just a tad, because I'm gonna go to the back in this instrument. You see that they have these flaps back here, similar to a grand piano, if you will. And what happens is when you put the flaps up, which should always be when you're playing a Liberty, because the speaker system in the flaps the speakers are vertical, and that is what has made such a huge difference. We had great instruments prior to the Liberty, but when the Liberty came out, there was no doubt in everybody's mind they would talk about the sounds because they were so fabulous. Well, the speaker system contributes to that a great deal, as you can see back here. And because the speakers are vertical, they come up and over you. And that's what makes it so exciting, because you're getting a whole totally different experience with the virtual speakers. Great, great virtual orchestra, and I just love it. So let me show you some more. This style is really, really fun, and it has singers in it. The Mills Brothers are going to sing with us. It's one of Robert's favorites for sure. Cab Driver is the tune. Cab Drivin is what it's called. Here you go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on altar style, and that's when you're going to hear the Mills Brothers sing with you. It's incredible. It's only me and us, all of us. Here we go. How cool is that? I
You're
just
cool.
love it. I have to tell you that two of my colleagues that I'm with Joe here now, and Eric and a couple of others I was talking to, and when I'm describing to them, how's it going? How's your presentation? And I'm like, it's awesome. It's awesome. And they're like, wow, you really think you're going to do that great of a job? And I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with me. It's about the liberty. And so I was sharing my excitement, and they're laughing at me because they just think it's so funny because, I've been doing this more years than I want to share with you. Uh, it used to be that I was very proud of how many years I had, but as I got older and older, I really skipped the numbers a whole great deal. But I have gotten more, and I was saying this to Joe today. I have more joy playing this, and it makes me want to play and play and play. And that's what the hobby is about. That's what the excitement is about. So let me talk to you a little bit about some other features that are really cool that don't get talked about a whole lot. However, there are always modifications that Lowry does that makes things better and easier for you. And this is a redesign of the touch bar. It's a little more tilted than it was. So if you drop your thumb, you don't have to get on the quote unquote right spot. You just have to touch it anywhere. And not only that, but they redesigned it to be silver. And the silver makes it so easy to see. Not only is it easy to see, but it differentiates from the left touch bar and the right touch bar. Very easy to recognize. So that's a real plus on the Liberty as well. And people really don't say a whole lot about it at first, but once they got the Liberty in their home, number one, they would call me on the phone and say, "Oh my gosh, the sound. There's no comparison," which I would agree. But then they would bring up, the touch bar is a lot easier to operate, and I guess it's one of the reasons is because you can see it nicely. So, and speaking of things that are amazing, everybody likes to use song setup, of course, and we use it for a lot of different reasons, as a matter of fact. However, you always get once in a while something that you go, oh, it's not in song setup. What am I going to use? That's when you should call Joanie, by the way, or Joe, or Robert, and we'll help you with that. But the Liberty has 919 song setups. Now, isn't that incredible? You should say wow.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
919
Wow.
song setups. Now, I don't think I play 919 songs. So I'm sure that the songs I do play are going to be there for me in the Liberty. So that's a real plus as well. So we're going to go to another style now to keep you happy with your music and me happy with hearing it because it sounds so fabulous. And I'm going now to Bobby Darin. And it's a signature style for Beyond the Sea, which is great. And then sometimes I have people say, well, what else could I play with that? Well, I'm going to give you another suggestion that you can play that sounds great on that style. And that is going to be All of Me. And it works perfectly. And if you wanted to play just All of Me, you could use Intro 2, and then you wouldn't have the signature introduction of Beyond the Sea. I hope you enjoy it. Nice.
Excellent.
Not the
I just
top
want to tell
one,
you
but
something
it
about
might be the second one to the top.
the first sound that you heard. It's called a modern jazz guitar, and I love that, especially for that particular Beyond the Sea, because it's got a little snap behind it. I don't know if you could hear it or not, um, but it's a great sound, and it doesn't really come up in a lot of different presets that we have, but it does come up on Beyond the Sea, and that's really fun. And then I used a dynamic vibe, and the dynamic vibe is also in the setups. And the harder I press, the stronger the vibe comes out. The interesting thing about the vibe sound is you can hear the air. I took vibraphone in college for a little while, but I couldn't roll like you have to roll with a vibraphone. My wrist wouldn't do it for some reason. And so I could play all the notes, but I couldn't do what the really good guys did. So I kind of gave up on it, but I loved the instrument. It was a lot of fun to play, but there's a certain amount of air that you hear in it, and when you're sitting here using that, you can hear that air, and that is just way cool. So, okay. So let me tell you one thing about a little difference on the previous instruments. There was a button called pianist and guitarist. Okay. And now the button is labeled more. And the reason for that is that the more is called +1. The second page is, well, first we have the pianist, and then we have all the guitarist rhythms, just like is on the Sterling or the Patriot. And then we have +1, and +1 is 11 rhythms that are on that page, brand new rhythms. You go to the next page and you get +2, another 11 for all brand new rhythms. And you go to the third page and you get what's called +3, and there's the last 11, totaling to 33 brand new styles. Now, the benefit for you that I think always when instruments would come out in the past, you always have to go find the new rhythms, and especially back in the classic days, you'd have to look all over the place to find them. You don't have to do that with the Liberty. You go push your more, which is the pianist guitarist button of the previous, and you go +1, +2, or +3, just touching the screen, and all of your 33 rhythms are there. How cool is that? I love it. Can you tell? It's good for me anyway. Now, this is my favorite, and this is priceless. The rhythm is called Bolero di Amore, and those of you who have headphones on, you'll be able to appreciate that very much, what I'm going to talk to you about. This is an amazing background, one of my absolute favorites. And I describe it as this instrument has, and you're going to hear it in other sounds that I use it well, but it has moving sound. That's the only words I could think to describe it in. The moving sound. So when I play the introduction, there's a saxophone that's going to come in. And the saxophone's going to start here, and it's going to move all the way over from the instrument and back into me. It's moving sound. Usually what I do if I'm live with people is I have them stand right behind me, and I say, you stand behind me and listen to the moving sound, and they immediately can hear it. It's phenomenal. I'm just going to play the intro and show it to you. I'm going to take my finger so you'll know where the sound is. And you can do it with me if you want. That would be fun. And then we'll start again. And when I get to the ending, the song is Mona Lisa that goes marvelously with this. When I get to the ending, the same saxophone will run all the way across the instrument. It's priceless, I'm telling you. Listen to this. I'll get you ready for the sax. Here it comes. Ready? Wow. Could you hear it? Nod your heads. Yes. Could you hear it? Good. All right. I like to play it. I could turn on the intro and have a party with myself. But this time I'll play for you. But we're going to get the intro again just to enjoy the fun. Okay, now get ready. Wow.
Wow,
How
I
about that?
feel that all the way up.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh,
I feel it move. It's just
yeah,
and,
yeah.
I used to think, back in the day, many years ago, I used to think that guys would talk about speakers and all. I didn't have an interest in high tech equipment, although, times have changed now. So even I had to figure out how to use a mixer board. And I only know enough to be dangerous, so don't get nervous. But they used to talk about the speakers, and sometimes they tell you the size of the speakers, and I always said to myself, "What's the big deal? Speakers are speakers." No, speakers are not speakers, and the speakers we're hearing in the sound bar and the moving sound, all that comes from the fabulous speakers that are in it, and that's why we have such awesome sound. I had to get out the thesaurus to check how many adjective words I could use to describe the instrument with my joy. But that's what it does for me, and I hope it's working for you right now as well. Is it?
I see about 20 nods.
Good, 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 good.
I'd see more, but some of them don't have their video on, so
Oh, that's a
I'm assuming
bummer.
there's more than 20.
That's a bummer. That's a bummer. Turn your video on. Be beautiful. Um, we also have a redesigned music rack on the Liberty, and this was extremely popular because in the other instruments, we had two music racks. We had one in the back, and then we had one that came out in the front called a music rack extender, and it brought it a little bit closer for you. When the Liberty was redesigned, I should say, they came out with only one music rack. We don't need more than one because it's now a music desk, as we call it. And the music desk comes out about an inch and a half further than we've ever had. It's high enough that it never blocks your screen, but it comes forward. And as you can see, I've entered the world of reading glasses. That's another subject we can talk about personally, but I'm not happy. But being able to use the music desk makes it really great for me. And so I just pull it out all the way, and there I am, and I'm ready to go. So I'm going to talk now about the category setups because they are very exciting. There's 11 brand new pop sounds, which are excellent. There's show tunes, 11 of those, 11 up on the upper keyboard, 11 on the lower right split as well. There is Theater V, and the V stands for Vogelman because Mr. Jim Vogelman is a colleague of mine. We worked together for many, many years. He's the best of the best, I can assure you. He created those sounds. Fabulous. If you love theater and organ, oh my goodness. That's the best of Jim Vogelman in the instrument. And then there's love songs. Oh, now this takes your breath away. It certainly takes mine. This is one of those ones where every time I use them, I get goosebumps. It's a mixture of sounds, so it's not all kind of one type, but every one of them is exquisite. When we talk about violins, we're talking about Stradivarius. We're talking about the best of the best. If you took the best name of every instrument you had and you totaled up what they cost, these instruments a Liberty would be $1 million for sure. But it's not, don't panic. And this is the best of the best sounds. So I'm just going to turn on the easy button and play for you certainly almost all of the love songs category. And it sounds like this. Wow. Unbelievable.
That is
See
awesome.
my hair standing up on my arms. I
I'm
just
jealous.
the sound is unbelievable.
I'm so
Beautiful.
jealous. That is so gorgeous.
It is so gorgeous. That's a great word for it. I didn't look that word up, but that's a good one. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the MCS because this was revolutionary when we got to the Liberty, having the ability. I'll show you actually when we have MCS, of course, is the easy button music chord system, is what it stands for. And when I play one finger, it's playing three notes for me. It's playing my one finger and two others, and actually a fourth, which is the bass. When professionals play, they don't play three note chords, they usually play six note chords. Now, what you would say is, how's that possible? Well, they'll typically play frequently five notes in their hand and one in their foot. So the chord sounds like six. Now, I have to tell you a little story. And when I got my first degree in music and education, that degree at the time, I guess this will tell you how old I am, cost $65,000. I think now it's probably $265,000, but at the time it was $65,000, and that was a lot of money in my book anyway. And I studied and studied and studied what this MCS deal does. Studied the chords and chord arrangements and oops, sorry, and block things and how to do it and all. And when the MCS Plus came out, all that knowledge that I spent $65,000 to learn is in one button. Now, I'm happy for you, and what I'm really happy about, I'm really happy that I, at the time that came out, I had no student loans. They were all paid off because if I was still paying money and you could have a $65,000 button, I would have been upset. But I'm very happy for you because when you play a chord with MCS Plus, it's going to give you 6 to 7 notes with the bass as well. Not me, the bass. So I'm going to let you hear it, and we'll choose this right here. So first we have the MCS. And then when I turn on the MCS Plus, this is what it sounds like. Oh my. How much fuller is that? That's all that stuff going on, and you're still only using one finger. That's a marvel in itself, and I love it. So we're going to do a little bit with that, but let me show you what the instrument does. Here's my MCS Plus, and here's the notes it's actually playing. I'll do it on the upper keyboard so you can see it. So that's taking both of my hands and most of my fingers. That's that with one finger. How cool is that? Let's try it out. How's that? So you playing on a Liberty will sound like me and what I'm doing with my hands because it'll do it for you. That's a gift. That's my $65,000 button. Don't tell anyone. And you don't have to worry about it being that expensive for you either, but it is a real gift. So let's go on to some more music. There's a new, wonderful waltz, and that's just what it's called for a most wonderful time of the year as we're entering into, and we need good, and we need smiles, and we need joy. And what can produce that better than music, especially on the Lowry Liberty? Here we go.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Wow, that's fun. Very, very fun. One of the things I wanted to mention about the moving sound, which is just incredible, but you hear it in the presets that are there also. On the one preset I was using, not on this song, but the one before, a guitar and they're called crescendo strings. The strings come over the guitar, so as you hold the note, you get a whole different feel for what first you hear the guitar, but then the strings come over it, and that is something we've never been able to recreate in any of the instruments that were ever alive before. But now we have that total moving sound. It's just incredible, and now you can see why I love it. So I'm going to share some more music with you. I love this style because of what it's called. It's called It's Possible. And the song, of course, is It's Impossible, the signature. But I love the positiveness of It's Possible. And no matter what we're doing in a day, I try to think to myself, it's possible. And if I run into a hurdle, it's still possible. I'm going to figure out a way for it to be possible. And so, of course, Perry Como joins us to It's Impossible. And what I want you to do is at the end, you'll hear a little bit of me playing at the end. I'd love you to say, it's possible, because it is.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Wow.
Yeah, Joni,
Anything is
you're
possible.
playing.
Definitely
This is what I
possible.
had up on the screen there, Joni.
I'm sorry.
This is what I had up on the screen when you had that.
Oh,
It's possible that
Big fun.
that's great. That's great. I had to look twice because the first thing I saw was airplane seats and I got nervous. So the sound,
It didn't have a mask
can I
on.
just tell you, it's the sound that gets me really excited. It's really fun. I'm going to talk about a feature now. I was working for Lowry when this feature came out, and we just thought this was the greatest thing we had ever come up with because in many houses who have this hobby, one person plays and the other person doesn't. So we were trying to come up with a way, well, how could that other person play too, even though they weren't really interested in working and learning a whole lot about it. And we came up with the concept of fake it, which we thought was marvelous. And what you had to do is you had to wiggle your fingers on any key, but you had to do it rhythmically. And I would just tell people play one note and play it rhythmically the way you would play the melody, but you don't have to find the notes. You just play one. Well, the feedback we got, it didn't take very long either. The feedback we got was they can't do it. My customers can't do it. It's too hard. They can't get the rhythmic spin of things. They can't figure it out. So the engineers kind of put their heads together along with Jim Weta, my best buddy, and they came up with a way to make it so that people could do the fake it without having to wiggle your fingers. So now I can hold one black key. I don't have to do anything, any black key I want. And it's going to play a line for me, an improvisational line, if you will. That's, when the band sits down and one guy takes a solo, that's he's doing the improv. That's what that fake it is. And the really interesting thing, only because of technology and the memory that this instrument has, is down below like split, I can use fake it there as well. So I have fake it up here doing one line and down here a totally different line. And so I'm literally going to hold my finger on the key and do nothing. And all I'm going to do is change my chords to the song. That's it. So you're working your left hand, not having to play with your right. Just hold it and get the fake it. So let's try this out. We're going to try it out on a little bit of gospel. I'll tell you when it's coming on. There we are. One finger on a black key with the fake it button. Here we go. Listen to this. Now we'll go to the lower. Totally different melody line. both. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
That
unbelievable.
is fun. That is really, really
Yeah.
fun. And you don't have to worry about finding notes. You don't have to worry about looking at your music. You don't have to do anything to sound incredible, like a professional. I love it. It's just great. The only thing I don't love is always have to write myself a note to take the fake it off after I
Yeah.
read it, because otherwise you start your next song and it goes wild playing with you. I don't know if you heard it in the fake it, but when the ending was slowed down, so does the fake it lines. It follows right in the tempo. Well, that's a lot of technology to be able to have all that, and that's what we have here. It's just awesome. So, how are we doing so far? You doing okay, Robert?
Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome.
Good. It's very exciting, isn't it?
Yes.
I think it is. So I have a little note there to turn my fake it off. So I just did. So I'm going to go now on to +3. And on page +3 of my brand new 33 rhythms, there's a rhythm called blues rock. Some of the +3s are we say modern, but modern's all relative, that word. But this really goes great for Bad Bad Leroy Brown and a lot of fun. So take a listen. Wow, that's awesome.
Very good. Wow. Really can play that organ.
But I'm just doing one finger. All the buttons do it for me. And the really great thing is that, because when somebody's first seeing it, they go, oh my gosh, well, how can you even possibly learn how to use all those buttons? Well, you don't have to learn how to use them, because this does it all for me right here. All my sounds, everything is here for me. I don't have to do anything. I just go, touch a number, and I play. And I can see all of my sounds on the screen. So it makes it like really, really easy to do. Here's another one that I think you'll enjoy. And I don't know who did this song. I went to find out yesterday and I forgot. But the style is called the Shag, and it works great. Robert, what was the tune you said that went with it that I don't know?
Morning Train.
Morning Train.
A Morning Train.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to YouTube that because I'm not sure if I know that or not.
When you hear the melody, you recognize it. I didn't sing it very well.
No comment. Well, I'm gonna play the song "When Fools Rush In," and it's a lot of fun, and it's a great. I love this style for one reason. It's not slow, and it's not fast. It's moderate right in the middle. So you can play so many of the tunes that you know and love on your Lowry Liberty, which I love. And so let's try When Fools Rush In. Fun, isn't it?
Woohoo! Let's give Joanie a round of applause. Woohoo!
Thank you.
Oh, let's hear it. Give her some love.
Hey, Joanie.
Beautiful job, beautiful job. Wow, you can really
you.
play.
It's
Go.
really, it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's my love for the Liberty and how much fun I have with it.
Get
It's
some more
just
music
that
in
it
it,
makes
right?
me feel like I'm a lot better than I am, which is great.
Got some more music coming up though, right? Okay. Just say yes.
Just say yes.
He's gonna play another song here. Real quick, Sean, I was just thinking, Joanie showed so much stuff today that I think it'd be great to give a little highlight. Joanie, if you could hit the, here, I'll mute all. So if you notice, here's just a little highlight of everything that Joanie showed today. This Lowry Liberty is absolutely phenomenal. First of all, we have that new cabinet design. It's actually a one-of-a-kind cabinet design in that entire series. It was the only instrument that had that beautiful design with the adjustable lower and integrated adjustable music rack. Now, you didn't mention this, but we saw it, but the adjustable bench with the lumbar support on the back, it kind of hits you right in the right spot too. I'm so jealous that you have one. I probably said that a few times. And then of course, those grand monitor, virtual grand monitor speakers. Hey, virtual grand monitor speakers. We do so much virtual stuff nowadays. It's kind of perfect. And of course, there's the number you're looking for, 319 musical styles, Joanie, total of 957. I can't remember, it was 33 above and beyond one of the models and 50 something, 100 and something more than the
59 and 79.
And how much is it?
59 more than the Patriot and 79 over the Sterling.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to faint. And then MCS Plus. Now, I'll tell you something about MCS Plus today that I learned was when you talked about that feature, I actually learned a little bit more about what that feature does. And I don't have to spend $65,000 to do it. That's great.
That's
The
right.
new Make It Plus, my picks, the new category presets, and how many song setups did you say? That was something I learned new today too.
919.
Oh my goodness.
Which is an odd number. I wonder why it wasn't 920, but it's 919.
Oh my goodness. It's still a lot of great song setups. So that's the Lowry Liberty in short. And I've got, before you play your last number, I do have a quick reminder I want to tell everybody. Let me how do I shut this off, Sean? Oh, there we go. So as you know, folks, the beginning of the month, well, not at the beginning, 2 weeks ago, I want to remind everybody that we have 1 week left in you for your ability to win one of these grand prizes. I had a student that told me that she really wanted to win this prize here because she figured out it was big enough to fit her husband in it. When he got out of line, she was just going to stick him in this beautiful music storage cabinet. Yes, Carol, that wasn't you. Don't get any ideas. No, but it is a gorgeous cabinet. Now, something else I have to tell you about this cabinet that I know is the finish on that was actually originally designed to match the finish on some of the Lowry models. So whoever wins that one's going to be really thankful they got a matching cabinet. And of course, this really gorgeous Howard Miller School wall house clock. It's just absolutely a gorgeous piece, heirloom quality with chimes, beautiful chimes and what have you effects. And then of course, one of 4 musical tote bags that you can win. And a lot of people like to use this when they carry around some of their favorite music, or maybe they want to put all the collection of invoices of purchases they've made over the years, just to kind of bring back some great memories, right? Now, the question, now you probably got this email already, but I'm just going to remind everybody, it says how to register to win. Well, it's real simple. First, you have to set up a time to do a survey and a product survey. Well, I'm going to save you about 1 hour's worth of time because this survey takes about an hour and 15 minutes, give or take. I'm going to save you an hour. Are you ready for this, folks? Fortunately, we had the opportunity of having Joanie perform and demonstrate her favorite Lowry Virtual Orchestra. So you already got to see a product. All you have to do is take a few minutes out of your schedule, call your local store, your PA, your personal assistant, and say, I want to give you my opinion on what I saw today. And that's it. So maybe, I think it takes about 10 minutes, 5 minutes, depends on how much you guys just shoot the breeze or you just get right into the survey and give your opinion on some of the things that Joanie shared with you today. Now, don't worry if you've forgotten, because she showed a lot of goodies today. The staff member is going to have the outline of what she did today, and then they'll refer to it and say, what did you think about this? What did you think about that? And we do need your feedback, because I have to tell you, someday, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but someday, what we like to do is we take feedback, and the more feedback we get, we file it away. And when the time comes that another instrument will eventually, hopefully be built down the road, this is how we use that feedback. So you can be very, very influential in this. And by doing the product survey, once you're done with that survey, they send it to me and you're automatically entered to win one of those grand prizes, okay? If you have any questions, call your Fletcher Music Center store, call your personal assistant, or email me, and we'll make sure that we get all the right information. So as soon as we're done, set up a time to do your product survey and tell us what you think. With that said, folks, this is the sad part, that Joanie's going to play her final number, and it'll probably be the last time we get to hear a Lowry Liberty. There's only one of 2 Lowry Liberties in the entire world. Coincidentally, there's one in each color too. We have a beautiful cherry finish and we have one in oak. So Joanie, you're going to have to do something to put a smile on our faces. I hope you have a good song for that.
I do. And I just want to thank you for being on and sharing the joy that I have with the Liberty. I actually have a Sterling, and if I were allowed to get a Liberty, I would have had it already, but they're reserved for you. So, but I will put this out. If someone decides to purchase the Liberty in my vicinity, I will come out and do a concert on it for you. So I hope that tempts you a little bit to have the great sound in your home. And I thought about what's a great song to leave you with that would put a smile on your face, that is beautiful, beautiful music that's soothing. And you know what? The style's called Smiles. And so that's what I want Robert to be able to tell me that he was looking at all smiles when you were hearing the music. Thanks again. I hope you enjoyed it.
Very nice. Beautiful. Oh, wonderful.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Joanie Manero, everybody, give it up. Make some
You're the best.
noise.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joanie.
Thanks,
Way to go,
Joanie.
Joanie.
Oh,
My pleasure. My
wonderful.
pleasure.
Nice, Joanie.
Beautiful job. Beautiful job. Yeah.
Thank you for all joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this wonderful show presentation of Lowry Free with Johnny Manero. Thank you. Keep playing music. Stay safe and set up your time for your product survey. And
Bye, bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Tam.
Leroy.